you remember what year you graduate?
New Hampshire, it was 2012.
And sorry, I asked two questions. Did you graduate from the Police Standards and Training Academy?
In New Hampshire or
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, it was just the law package.
And in Arizona, did you graduate from the Police Standards?
I did. I graduated the Mesa, Arizona Police Academy in 2005.
So in total, you have 19 years of law enforcement experience?
Correct.
I want to switch gears, Officer Pentinen. In your current assignment with the Manchester Police Department, do you have occasion to conduct traffic accident investigations?
Occasionally, I do.
And can you walk the jurors through what your standard protocol is when you're responding to such an accident?
Standard protocol when I respond to an accident, when I arrive on scene, I'll do an immediate assessment of the vehicles if we need to get them off the road. I will immediately ask if anyone needs medical attention. If they respond they do, we'll get the fire department there or whatever medical needs. If not, then I will immediately ask the drivers for their information, their driver's license, insurance information, their phone number, and as well as the registration of the vehicle. After that, I will ask who the occupants are of the vehicle and get their names, dates of birth, phone numbers, addresses, all for the accident report.
So you mentioned speaking to the drivers of the vehicles, and then you mentioned getting the vehicle occupant information. Where do you usually get that information from?
I'll ask whoever's there. I will speak to each person individually and get their information. Unless it's a child, then I will ask the adult who's on scene with them.
Do you typically speak to every individual other than children? Do you typically speak to every individual in each car?
Yes, I do.
And what's the purpose of that?
To get a brief synopsis of what occurred in the accident from different perspectives.
And do you document these investigations?
I do.
How do you document them?
I will immediately take notes on a notepad, and then I will fill out an accident exchange form.
Yeah, we continued on where we left out in the Allen Montgomery trial.
Which is required by the police department, and then when that is all done, I will make a traffic accident report documenting everything from the scene.
And again, is it necessary during, and we're still talking your standard protocol, is it necessary during these investigations for you to see every individual involved?
Yes, I will need to see who's there.
And can you walk us through how that occurs? How do you see those individuals? Do you order them all out of the vehicle or something else?
If it's a minor accident, most of them will just stay in the vehicle. If they are on scene, I will ask who was in the vehicle.
I'm gonna skip this a little bit, y'all, because they always get into their history first.
Who weren't involved in the accident might be related.
We want to get to business.
The message 4 is the message that you received at 12:13 a.m. Hey, need help ASAP. Please need a jump and jumper cables ASAP. And separate from that, did you get another message right afterwards, or shortly thereafter? Yes. And what time did you get that second message? 12:58. Okay. And what was the message that you got then? It says, I need a jump. My car died. We've been sleeping in our car, and our battery just died. Now, separate from that, did you then start responding back to this Facebook message from Mr. Montgomery? Yes. All right. And what did you write? I don't have any cables. Okay. And then, what's the next message that you received in this conversation? This is Kayla. Will you bring me to a store to get them? I'll give you gas money. We will literally die tonight. And with regards to that message, at that point, when it says this is Kayla, who do you believe now has the phone? I believe that was a joint account they had together. Okay. In general, just from this account, were you able to tell who it was from, whether it was from Adam Montgomery or whether it was from Kayla? Not until they identified themselves. Okay. And what about with regards to how they wrote, the type of words that they used? Did you notice a difference? Not really. Okay. What's the response that you wrote back after that? You received that message about we will literally.
I just got home from work and have to get up early for work tomorrow. What's even open and where are you guys?
Okay. So to clarify, at this point when you're writing, you said I don't have cables. Was that true?
Yes.
Okay. So you didn't.
I didn't have
cables. Okay. Um, and when you say when you move on about having to get up early for work tomorrow, you asked where they were. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Why did you ask that question?
I was just curious as to where they wanted me to drive all around to at that hour.
Continuing on with the bottom part of page 1 here of the exhibit, I wondered if you could go ahead and what's the response you got to that?
It's okay, Matt. I don't know what it is open. I'm sorry.
That IDKs, I mean, I don't know, or I don't know.
I don't know, yeah.
Okay. And what did you say back?
It's not your fault. I just don't have cables. It's not so I know what's open.
Okay. And so at that time of night, did you know what was open or not? All right, it has to be a verbal answer.
Oh, no, sir.
Sorry, because the microphone's picking up and recording. I wondered if you could go ahead and turn to page 2 now and walk us through the next part of this conversation that you're having. After that you said you didn't know what was open, what message did you start getting on the account?
I think either if mobile don't have them, the only place is Amherst Walmart.
Ooh.
So I know you need to get out early. Have a good night. Sorry.
You said get out early. Is that what was written?
That's what it looks like it was written. There's a lot of typos.
Okay. Certainly, would you say that the typos that you're seeing here is different from what you saw before when you got the message saying that it was from?
In other words, they want you to go buy some cables.
I would assume it's from the same person still.
Okay. Even though the
They
typos.
didn't identify. They changed people. So I'm assuming it's still Kayla.
Okay. And so, what do you back when they say, hey, "I'm sorry"?
I said it's okay. Try to have a good night.
Well, let me just. Excuse me. That's right. I'm just trying to get to it. Say it's okay. Try to have a good night. And what's the response that you got back after that?
I'm gonna try. We can die in this weather. We can't write. We can just really. Can't even read that.
Is it CILD? Are we reading that right? Okay.
And it said, hey, I'm at Colonial Village, and Kimmy said she has jumper cables.
Looking at that first line, I'm gonna try. Can we? I'm sorry. I'm gonna try. Can we die in this weather? And then is it we? How do they spell the next word after we?
Looks like CSNT.
Is it fair to assume that might be can't?
Correct.
Okay. Right. We can just. Is that VE?
That's what I got.
Okay. Just V. Really, and the CILD. What do you think that word is?
Probably cold.
Really cold. Okay. And then the line afterwards.
Hey, I'm at Colonial Village, and Kimmy said she has jumper cables.
Who's Kimmy? Do you know who Kimmy is?
Kimberly Frayne?
And were you Facebook friends with her?
Yep. I also worked with her as well.
Mm.
The same location.
And with regards to that, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and flip over to page 3 now. And, or excuse me, if you could stay at the bottom of page 2, I apologize, we didn't finish here. You said, can Kimmy jump you? Is that correct?
That's what I said, yeah.
What did they respond?
She don't have a car.
Oh,
That's
Lord.
why I've been messaging everyone.
Got it.
Just for clarity's sake, when you said she don't have her car, what was actually spelled?
Was that spelled?
No.
She don't have GER car. She don't have her car.
Fair to say, though, you interpreted that as her car.
Correct.
And that's why I've been messaging everyone. If you could go to page 3 of that exhibit and kind of take us through how this conversation ended that day. After they said she don't have her car, that's why I've been messaging everyone. What was the next thing that you received, the next message?
So, do YIH not want to do that?
What did you interpret that to mean?
Probably mean, do you not want to do that?
And what did you write back?
I don't really feel like running all over the place at this hour of the night.
I know that's right.
4-hour road assistance thing.
What were you suggesting to them when you said 24-hour runs?
Like AAA or
That's right.
just one those type of services, I guess.
Have you ever used that service in the past?
I didn't have it at the time, but I have used it since.
Oh, that's what I meant. I'm sorry, have used it since. And did you find that they do have that ability to be able to jump a car?
Yeah.
And if you could go ahead and take us through the next part of your conversation here.
Okay.
What did they respond after you suggested that they try to find somebody who could do the jump and service?
It's not our car, Matt. Our car died today. I'm assuming the word his friend is letting us stay in his. It's all good, Matt. Don't worry about it. I just don't want to freeze tonight. I've messaged everyone else.
Well, get over it.
Again, some of those words misspelled.
Correct.
And when you were just reading for us, is that your interpretation of those misspellings?
He trying to make them feel.
What
They
did
trying to
say
make
after
him
you
feel sorry for
messaged
them.
everyone else? What did they say?
NOOBE, I'm assuming means nobody
Mhm.
has cables or nobody has their cars. Spelled cats.
Spelled cats, but interpreted as cars.
Correct.
With regards to that, what did you say back to when they were said nobody has cables and nobody has cats? What did you write back?
I get all that. Roadside assistance can jump a car. They have helped me before. They don't ask for proof of ownership.
I know that's right. They weren't meant to
You
do
write
it.
that back to them. What's the response that you got?
Yeah, no one of us has insurance. Don't worry about it, man.
And what time was that final message that day?
1:53 a.m.
They want Matt to get out there in the dog and strangle him. I'm just playing. No, that's right, Matt.
Right. Let me ask, did you say, I don't know, maybe a month later in January of 2020, did you have any other Facebook messages from Adam Montgomery or any other discussions with Adam Montgomery about what happened that night?
Not to my knowledge.
At any point in time, did you ever,
Also not to my memory.
not to your memory?
It's been a while.
Okay. If I could just have a moment, please.
Mm-mm. They want Matt to go out there.
Mr. General, jump, and you had this conversation with the defendant. With regards to that, at that time, did you know where he was living?
I did not.
And were you ever made aware that he was homeless at that time?
That was the first time I found out.
When did you find out?
Well, during that message that they're living in their car, I had no idea.
All right, thank you, Mr. General. I don't have any further questions for you. I believe defense counsel will have.
Oh, so they been living in their car.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse, please, Your Honor.
Adam something else, y'all. Adam something else, honey. But I don't see him in court. Mm-mm. Y'all, if you just not tuned into this trial right here, Adam Montgomery uh, is on trial for I'm trying to use another word. for unaliving his daughter. Yes, she was 6. And the stepmom, okay, because she was afraid of him. Now, who it is? So the stepmom been on trial, y'all. These are witnesses. Let's see what he gonna say. Look how the judge looking at him.
Mr. Sweeney, as we're being recorded here today, would you please go ahead and state your full name, spell both your first and your last name for the record?
Aaron Sweeney, Aaron Sweeney.
And Mr. Sweeney, what city do you currently reside in?
Manchester, New Hampshire.
How long have you been living here?
Since second grade, so a long time.
Long time. Okay. And are you currently working?
Yes.
And where do you work?
BJ's, right here in Manchester.
And what shift do you work for BJ's?
Third shift.
Okay, so let me ask you, it's about 9:55. How long have you been up?
I actually called out last night. So
Okay.
I made sure I got sleep.
That's why I just want to make sure that you did get a good night's sleep.
Yep.
Okay. If for any reason you need me to restate your question or any lawyer to restate a question, just let us know and we'll be glad to do it. Okay.
Them earrings in his lips.
With regards to your work for BJ's, how long have you been working for them?
Almost a year.
Year. And prior to that, back in 2019, what sort of job did you have back then?
I believe that's when I was towing.
Okay. And were you towing for a company called Auto City Towing?
Yes.
I'd like to ask you about a particular tow back on December 7th of 2019 at the intersection of Webster and Elm Street around 12:52 in the afternoon. Do you remember that tow?
A little bit, not fully.
Well, let me ask you, when you go ahead and you tow a car, can you kind of explain to the jury what sort of procedures that you go through when you're making a tow?
Our office just calls one of the drivers and we're handed a piece of paper saying where we're going and what it's for. And then we just proceed to the location.
Can't hear you, honey. Talk in the mic.
What about when it's a vehicle that has broken down? Is there a way that Manchester Police Department might dispatch you out for a tow?
Yeah, they call our tow company and then our guy at the front desk dispatches us out. Unless the individual themselves call for a tow.
Oh, he got earrings everywhere.
Yeah. It goes straight to our front desk and then we're handed a piece of paper and then we go right to the scene.
When you get to a scene for a tow, what are some of the very first things that you do, just generally?
Just contact whatever vehicle's involved and find out what's going on and where it's going.
And from there, when you do have to use a tow, what kind of tow truck are we talking about?
Flatbed. So
Flatbed?
ones, yeah.
And could you go ahead and please explain to the jury what's the process you have to go through to put a car onto a flatbed as compared to, say, putting on a car where you're just putting two wheels up and the back two wheels roll?
We just get a good spot, we hook it up and then we pull it up. That's it, really.
And what about when you have to do documentation of this tow? How do you document the tow that you're doing?
Oh, he the tow driver, y'all.
Whatever we do, then we just write like general information on it.
So their car must have got towed. We'll see. No, this is not Harmony father, no.
Let's go ahead and show you what's the Mark States Exhibit 3B for identification purposes only. I'd also like to show you what is page 6 of the Mark States Exhibit 3C for identification purposes only. Just have you take a look at those two documents for a moment, please.
Okay.
Do you recognize them?
Yes.
Okay. And let's go ahead and start with States Exhibit, page 6 of States Exhibit 3C. How do you recognize that?
This is the tow slip that the drivers fill out.
So you did a tow, is that the slip that you fill out?
Yep.
And what about States Exhibit 3B for identification purposes? What's that?
This is what is typed out by the gentleman at the front desk.
Honestly. Yeah.
So that's not something that you yourself.
Come on, attorney.
Regards to page 6 of State's on that particular one, it fills out that information.
I know.
And when
We fill out just very little bit before the tow. Once we get to the tow, we can fill out more, or if we have to, we fill it out once we get back to the lot.
and by the time that you are done with that tow, you drop the car back off at the lot. At that point, you have to have the rest of that filled out.
Yeah, so the rest of this is filled out, and then we give it back to the gentleman who types up the other one.
And in regards to, other than the fact that if you look at State's Exhibit 3C, page 6, other than the fact that it's obviously on the original paper, it's been photocopied, do you notice any other sort of changes or alterations from that out?
No.
You recognize your initials out?
Yes.
And did you fill this one out?
Yes.
At this point in time, Your Honor, I'm going to take this back. Yes, sir. The State is going to move page 6 of State's Exhibit 3C. Right there.
Y'all get them lights up for me, okay? Appreciate you.
The objection? To page 6. So should it, if the exhibit is more than one page, should it be a separate exhibit? 3D? Maybe, right?
For those who just joined, we are now into Adam Montgomery, the father of Harmony, 6-year-old, allegedly taking her life, and now he's on trial. And his ex-girlfriend assists him in this because she was afraid of him. Don't never be afraid of nobody. I know it's hard, but Adam very manipulative. He really is. You know how to play mind games. But dude right here on the stand is the tow driver. The police has called him and he go pick up the cars. So evidently,
I apologize, Mr. Chairman, I just want to show you page 6 from State's Exhibit 3, and I'm going to show you, if you see, also going to show you State's Exhibit 3A for identification. Are those the same Josephs?
Yes.
And again, other than the fact that this one's easier to read and the red sticker, because some changes will alterations to this.
No.
Thank you very much. This point, State, right back to State's Exhibit 3A.
Okay. All right. The ID is stricken on 3A. It is entered as a full exhibit.
Mr. Smith, what I'd like to do is go ahead and give this to you to have right there, and permission to publish it.
Any objection? No objection. Yes, ma'am.
And it's just going to go ahead and have to be able to look at that photocopy. So we're also going to have to check the screen on it. But that's going to be questions on the section.
Okay.
The information you go with.
can't hear you, attorney.
So, Mr. Sweeney, if you would just turn around just for the briefest of moments, and is that a copy of State's Exhibit 3A that you have in front of you?
Yes.
Fair to say, it's kind of hard to read at that size, isn't it? Is it easier on the paper?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, I'd like to go ahead and kind of go through a little bit of the information that you filled out on this form, and you can tell us a little bit more about the tow. First of all, where did you go to make this tow?
Corner of Webster and Elm.
On the corner of Webster and Elm?
Yep.
Okay. And when you ended up towing the car initially, did you bring it straight back to the lot, or did you bring it somewhere else first?
I brought it over to the gas station that was on that same corner.
Would that be Budget Gas right on the corner?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you bring it there before bringing it back to the lot?
So they can get some things out of their car.
Do you always do that?
Only if it's safe enough, or if there's a safe enough area to do it, I will. If not, I just direct them to come back to the shop.
Oh, he ain't supposed to do that.
When you were there, where did you park in the gas station parking lot?
Just close to Elm Street, like out of the way of the bumps.
All right. And at that point, did you allow some people to get some stuff out?
Yes.
Okay. Who got material out of that car?
I just only remember 2 gentlemen.
2 gentlemen?
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. And once you've towed a car for somebody to get things out of it, what do you have to do? Do they just kind of climb up the side of the truck, or?
No. So what I did was I extended the bed back out and I tilted it down so they can go up.
What?
Okay. And then did you see the 2 people do that? Get things out of the car? Where did they put those things?
In another car.
Do you remember what that other car looked like?
No.
And the 2 men that you saw?
Yeah, he wrong for that.
What kinds of things did you see get taken out of the car? Do you recall?
I don't remember. Typically, when people clean out their car, like especially on the side of the road, I just stay by my truck, give them space.
What?
Quickly look over to see if they're done.
And once they were finished, where did you bring this car?
Back to our lot at Auto City.
So let me ask you, with regards to the car itself, what kind of car was it that you towed?
Sebring, as the slip says.
Okay. And let me ask, again, you filled out the slip on the day of, is that correct? So fair to say that the information was fresh in your mind while you were there doing this?
Yes.
Right. And for the different areas that you might not know right off the top of your head, somebody's phone number or somebody's home address, how do you get that information?
If the person who's driving the vehicle is there, I just ask them.
Okay.
Oh, he a
You
good
fill
old
this slip out,
boy
where does it go
tow
once you get
driver.
done with it?
It goes to the gentleman at the front desk, and then he does whatever he has to do with it.
And let me ask, is that, you earlier looked at State's Exhibit 3B, is that, you said that was a type-up version?
Yeah.
Is that where this information will go?
Yes.
What is some of the information in general? I'll ask you about specifics in a minute, but in general, what is some of the information that you record?
Just the VIN number, the make, the model.
VIN number, so is that a vehicle identification number?
Yes.
Do you also record things like mileage?
Nope.
Okay. Do you record a reason to make this tow?
Yes.
And what about your own mileage going to make a tow? Is that important to record?
Yeah, we've always been told like the mileage from the start of the tow until we get back to our lot.
So what I'd like to do now is go through the different sections of the tow slip with you on State's Exhibit 3A and have you explain what we're looking at, the information you filled in that day, all right?
Okay.
I'd like to go ahead and start focusing on the very top section there. Could you go ahead and just tell us what's the time that you made this tow?
12:52.
Okay. Morning or afternoon?
Afternoon.
Okay. And who was it that had requested the tow?
Manchester PD.
Is that typical?
Yeah, it's normal.
All right. What was the reason that you were towing the car?
Disabled vehicle.
And the intersection itself, can you say where that was?
Webster and Elm Street.
Pardon me. Where did you bring the car to?
Auto City.
And where's their tow lot?
It's on Commercial Street. It's right in the same building as our office.
Same building as your office?
Yeah.
This Adams car, y'all.
Well, the information of the owner of the car, the driver, who do you get that from?
The driver, if they're there.
And what information did you write down in this report?
Adam Montgomery.
What address did he give you?
77 Guilford Street.
And this information would have come from him?
Yes.
All right.
Are you sick of having issues with your weather?
Now, y'all, that's a trip. That I never seen a.
Or did you get any phone number to contact him?
No.
Did you ask for one, or would you ask for one?
We usually ask for one. If they don't give us it, then we don't expect them to come back
Don't expect them to come back. What does that mean?
for the car.
At that point, it's believed that the car's going to be abandoned? Is that,
That's what we assume.
okay, all right. Let me ask you about some of the other information. The information that you write down about the car itself. I know you said the VIN number. Can we see that on the tow form?
Yes.
Okay. And what about the year of the car or the make of the car?
That is on there as well.
Okay. And could you again just give us the year, the make, and the model of the car?
2010 Chrysler Sebring, silver.
Was there a license plate on this car?
Yes.
And what license plate was there?
4368206.
Was that a New Hampshire plate?
Yes.
And the color of the car? What was the color?
Silver.
All right. I see that there was something else that was initially written and then crossed out.
Yep.
Okay. Who would have done that cross out?
Me.
All right. Looking at some of the other information on this, I believe you just read the license plate for us. Is the VIN number on there as well?
Yes.
All right. And could you go ahead and read the VIN number for us, please?
1C, 3C, C, 5F, B1, AN, 137502.
Thank you. I'd like to talk about the mileage that you write down. Is that your mileage?
Is it service? Right where it says mileage and service time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's not the car's mileage. All right. And the service times. What are the two times that you put down?
12:52 is when I left, and 1:39 is when I got back.
Okay. And when you say left, left where?
Left a lot.
Left the lot. Oh, left the lot to go make the tow.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And then separate from that section, I'd like to ask about the reasons. What were the reasons that you checked off for why you were towing the car?
Just it was disabled and the type of truck that we have.
One of the last sections I'd like to ask about this particular slip is in your remarks section. You wrote two things. Could you please read those for us?
No registration and no phone.
Okay. And when you say no registration, would you have asked for a registration?
Yep.
Okay. And is that a normal part of your practice when you make a tow?
Yes, it's just to get the most accurate information on the vehicle itself.
And about the phone number, same thing?
Same thing.
Finally, you're the tow driver on this car, correct? All right. And did you go ahead and write down your initials on that?
Yep.
Okay, what were your initials?
AS.
If you could just go ahead and look at the screen behind you for a moment, can you just show us, just point generally where your initials are?
Right there, the driver.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Tow Driver.
Mr. Sweeney, I know that you stated that when you made this tow, there were two male individuals that helped get things out of the car. Let me ask you, when you were making this tow, did you see any children at all?
No.
None whatsoever? No. All right. Thank you. I don't have any further questions for you, Mr. Sweeney. I believe the fence.
Where the children was?
My name's Caroline Smith. How are you?
Where Adam put the children, y'all, after the car broke down.
So the car was about 20 years old?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you respond to that location, is Manchester PD still there?
Typically, yeah.
Okay. Because once a car is disabled, especially in a busy intersection, they want to make sure people are moving around pretty safe, right? And your flatbed actually has to go a little bit into the intersection to put the car on the flatbed, right?
Yeah, depending on the angle of the car.
Okay. And if a car is parked straight as if going straight through a traffic Okay. And, you know, check to make sure the parking brake's on?
No.
Okay.
What kind of tow
Say
truck is
you,
that?
you probably were there within 20 minutes of when that car broke down?
Yeah.
Okay. And, you drove over to, so the two guys that came up to get stuff out of the car, was the car already on the flatbed at that point?
Yeah.
And they came over and asked you if they could get some stuff out?
Yeah.
And you said, well, I gotta get out of here, I'll pull over to the budget?
Yeah.
And then you stand aside and they go through the car and get stuff?
Yep.
Might be going through the front of the car?
They go wherever they can get access to.
Okay. And it was not locked, right?
No.
Did anybody give you the keys to the car?
Either they were in the ignition or they were handed to me, but I honestly don't remember.
You did have the keys though?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you give them back for when they were going through the car, or did they give you the keys after they went through the car?
I don't remember.
Okay. Thank you.
What kind of tow company is this, y'all? I need his toll number.
You said that 20 minutes. Where does that number come from?
Just by the time we get the call and I get to the scene.
Do you know what time Manchester would have found that car, or then turned around at the time between that, sending the note over to you guys to do that? So,
Have no idea. It's basically once the police get to that particular scene, they just call us, or they call somebody.
so you know the time when you got dispatched?
Yeah.
But not necessarily what happened.
Yep.
When a car's broken down at a busy intersection, you try and get out there pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a dangerous situation, right?
Yeah.
And so, for a dangerous situation, things happen pretty quick.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You may step down. Any objection to being excused?
Yeah, he the best tow driver I seen.
On call.
Field documents. Council approaching.
He left the scene with the car on there. Met the people somewhere to let them get their stuff out. Then he gets in the tow truck and then he leaves. I ain't never seen no tow truck driver do that. Ooh, Lord, honey. Why ain't let them come get their stuff wherever? See, he must know them. He a good tow truck. But man, give me your number in case I need some help. Come back in there. This must be like a nah, this ain't no Moses. This is a trial. I don't see Adam.
Mr. Tucker, if you please go ahead and take the witness stand and remain standing when you get there, sir. And Mr. Tucker, if you please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you will give this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Please feel free to have a seat.
Let's see what
Sir,
he
being reported here today, would you please state your full name and spell both your first and last name for the record? Yes, sir.
Joseph Tucker, Joseph Tucker.
And Mr. Tucker, are you currently employed?
I am, yes, sir.
Okay, and where do you work?
The Catholic Medical Center.
How long have you been working for them?
I just started back up in January.
Okay, and what do you do for them?
I'm the cybersecurity manager.
And prior to working for Catholic Medical Center as the cybersecurity manager, where did you work?
Solution Health.
Solution Health. Health. Okay, and you were working for them.
April 2022 until January 2023.
Prior to that, and I will ask you to just, if you can even move a little bit closer to the microphone, I'll have you speak up just a little bit so I can hear you. Thank you. With regards to working for Secure Health, before that, where did you work?
Manchester Police Department, sir.
And again, I'm going to have to have you just kind of keep your voice up a little bit if you can. I'm sorry. How long did you work for the Manchester Police Department?
Since 2015, so just 8 years-ish.
Roughly that long?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you working there in January of 2022?
Yes.
All right. I'd like to ask you a couple different questions about when you were a Manchester police officer. First of all, were you a full-time certified officer?
I was, yes, sir.
Okay. And did you graduate from the New Hampshire State Police Training Academy?
I did, yes, sir.
When was that?
2012?
Around 2012?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember your academy class number?
163.
163. All right. And let me ask you, with regards to your work with Manchester Police Department, were there any other sort of law enforcement jobs that you had prior to that?
I worked for the Laconia Police Department before I went to Manchester.
How long in Laconia?
2012 to 2015.
2012 to 2015, and then Manchester from 2015 to 2022.
Yes, sir. I retired full-time from Manchester PD, and then I did about a year as a reserve officer working in like cybercrime.
Okay.
I don't know if you include that.
Okay. Yep, that's what I'm asking about, is all your experience there. With regards to your different duties in the Manchester Police Department, could you explain to us some of the different units that you worked at, different assignments that you had prior to you working in areas of being a detective?
Yes, sir.
I worked in patrol. I worked midnights for all 3 shifts, midnights 4 to 12 day shift. I had a K9, K9 Saber. We were primarily on 4 to 12. I helped create the drone unit. So
I'm gonna skip it a little bit, y'all. He's the one of the look at. Oh, he the doc. I need to hear him.
Show the car as it appeared to you at different times during your search of the car. Yes, sir. Okay. Put that one to the side for right now. Separate from that, I'd like to go ahead and ask you about State's Exhibit 4 on this particular one. And do you recognize that photo?
No,
Okay. With regards to that particular vehicle, do you recognize the vehicle?
it looks like the same vehicle, but without seeing the back, it's hard to say.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, I'm going to direct your attention to
Can't hear y'all.
and then have you make a comparison.
I'm sorry, can't hear it. Okay, sure.
Thank you. Get on your mic.
So, Tucker, what I'd like to do is have you go ahead and look, if you would please, at the top left-hand side of the windshield on State's Exhibit 4 in comparison to 10, and look at the two windshields as a comparison between the two.
Yes, sir. It's got the same numbers.
Okay. And with regards to, also, I'm going to have you look at the lower left part of that windshield underneath the hood on State's Exhibit 4 and compare it to the lower left part of the windshield on State's Exhibit 10. Yes, sir. Okay. And other than those particular numbers match? Yes, sir. Please ask you about the next exhibit. So, yep. Going to the State's Exhibit 6. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you recognize it to be?
It's the same vehicle, but it's the driver's side, front and rear of the vehicle, but the doors have been removed.
The doors have been removed. Yes. And let me ask you, when you were searching this car initially, was there anything that was inside the car?
Yeah, like all the car parts and stuff.
All the car parts? Yes, sir. Okay. And let me have you, are those reflected in that photograph?
Yes, sir.
All right, if you could go to the next photo then. I'm referring to State's Exhibit. Upside down, I apologize. State's Exhibit 7. For State's Exhibit 7, do you recognize that photo?
Yes, sir.
What is a photo of?
The front of the vehicle, driver's seat, passenger seat, but looking in on the driver's seat.
So looking in the driver's seat. So where the steering wheel is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And does that photo show the car as you saw it when you were searching the car?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you could go to the next exhibit, please. It should be State's Exhibit 8.
Yes, sir.
What's that a photograph of?
Same context, except from the passenger or from the driver's front, it's the driver's rear.
All right, so right behind the driver's seat. Okay. Does that photograph also accurately reflect the vehicle as you saw it the day that you helped out with the search?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the next photograph. And that particular one, I believe.
Yes, sir.
All right. What's that photograph of?
It's the trunk of the vehicle, sir.
The trunk of the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
If you could please, I'd like to direct your attention from 9, and also direct it to State's Exhibit 1, 3, 4. And look at those two. Do you recognize? Let's start with State's Exhibit 103. Do you recognize that photo?
Yes, sir.
What's that a photo of?
It's the trunk of the vehicle, but with more items on it.
Is that how the vehicle initially appeared, or did you fill it with items, or did you empty it from items?
No, we emptied it, sir.
Okay. And does it also show the registration for the car there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. State's Exhibit, the next one there. Should be 4?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what is that a photo of?
Just another close-up of the trunk area with all the items in it.
Okay. What kind of items are there?
It's like steering components. Looks like the front CD shaft and maybe a cross member.
Cross member?
Yeah, like the front frame with the cross member.
Oh, okay. Okay. Working our way around the car, I'd ask you to look at State's Exhibit 105 and see. Tell us a little bit about that particular photo. What's that a photo of?
The right rear, the passenger side rear, with the door open, looking in.
Did it also have car parts in it, that side of the car?
Yes, sir.
Can you see that in the photograph?
Yes, sir.
And is that accurate from when you saw it, when you helped it with the search?
Yes, sir.
And if you could go to the smaller exhibit there, yes.
It's 106.
106. What's that a photograph of?
The passenger front seat.
So now we've worked our way around the car to the passenger front seat.
Yes, sir. Right front.
And does that appear as you saw it when you helped do the search?
Yes, sir.
What were some of the items that were in that seat?
More car parts, broken glass, snow, just trash.
And does that accurately reflect how it appeared when you did the search?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. One last question for you. Separate from these, the last one I believe that we haven't talked about words is State's Exhibit 10. Could you tell us what that's a photograph of?
Pink toothbrush.
Okay, and do you recognize that toothbrush?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how do you recognize it?
It was in the back of the Sebring, sir.
Okay, the back of this car?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that a toothbrush that you seized and put into evidence?
Yes.
Okay, and do you remember what was the initials that you gave for that?
JMT7.
JMT7. Yes, okay, thank you. With regards to the photograph, does it look, other than the fact that it has a red label on it and somebody on that photograph has put their initials, other than that, any sort of changes or alterations to it from how you remember it looking when you collected it?
No, sir.
At this time, Your Honor, the state would like to take you back, please. The state will move to go ahead and start the investigation. Specifically,
They trying to get that trial right, y'all.
5, 4, as well as for state's exhibits 104, 105, 106, and 3, 104, 105, 106.
Any objection?
No objection to the 100s, and no objection to 4 through 9. I thought there was something about 11.
Specifically 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10.
I think 10 may already be, we would have no objection to it being entered.
So no objection, other than 11, which wasn't shown. So those can all be marked as full exhibits. The ID can be stricken.
I ain't never seen no trial in the suspect not in here.
I'd like to get these photographs back to you, be able to have them up close. But I'd like to also check them on the screen behind you. So feel free to look either at what is in front of you or what is behind you. Does not happen. Okay? Yes, sir.
Yes.
What is they meeting for? Yeah, if this a trial, y'all. This is a trial, but I don't see Adam.
We'll take our 15-minute mid-morning break now. I remind you, don't discuss the case with each other or with anyone else. Don't do any independent research. We'll see you in about 15 minutes. It's my hope that this will actually be 15.
So what we gonna do is we gonna go ahead on and skip the 15-minute break so we can get to.
Make a comparison of that windshield.
Oh, hold up, y'all. Let me get to the car. Oh yeah, it's getting good now. Oh, Ellen, they tore that car up.
Jimmy Brooks. Jimmy Brooks. Everybody ready? Yes. All rise for the jurors, please.
The jury back in there, y'all, but I still don't see Adam. I don't see Adam. Cause them his attorneys over there.
Please be seated. Are you ready?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Tucker, I had gone through a series of photographs with you just before we took our mid-morning break. Do you see that same stack of photographs in front of you now? Yes, sir. Okay. Again, what I'm going to do is I'd like to be able to ask you questions about these photos, and I'll go in roughly that order. And be able to, you can either look at the photographs in front of you or feel free to look at the screen behind you, whichever one's going to be easier.
All right, y'all, let's take a look at the car.
About how you conducted the search and the appearance of the car. All right? Yes, sir. All right. I'd like to go ahead and start with State's Exhibit 103. And I wondered if you could go ahead and describe this photograph for us. Yes, sir. This is the trunk of the Sebring. The car parts in it. Okay. And you said the car parts in it. Could you just kind of generally point with your hands where those are again? And do you know where those car parts came from?
I believe they came from the front of the vehicle. I believe that's like a CD shaft to do with power to the wheels in the front of the vehicle, but I'm not going to.
Okay. And with regards to the license plate, can we see the license plate on the car?
Yes, sir.
And could you read the license plate for us?
436-8206.
Moving around to State's Exhibit 5, what are we looking at here?
That's the front of the vehicle, specifically the driver's side.
And is this also, again, how the car looked that day when you searched it?
Yes, sir.
And so I guess from that question, is this the bay that we were talking about?
Where are the doors?
Yes. Can't help but notice it doesn't have a wheel. Did it have any wheels?
But I wasn't there when they took it from the junkyard. This is the first time I saw it. Was I came into work and was instructed to go down and help the detective.
Car had to have some wheels on it.
Sir, I'm going to need you to speak. Maybe slide your chair over a little
Yes,
so that you're speaking into the microphone.
Yes,
because
sorry.
This is recorded and we do need to get your voice. Thank you.
Yeah, like he's scared to use the mic. Yeah. What they do with the wheels? Oh, so the tow man took them off.
Specifically of the car, and we talked a little bit about it. I'd like to switch now to State's Exhibit 4. This particular car, is this the car that the photo that I had you make a comparison of that windshield?
Yes, sir.
All right. And showing State's Exhibit 5 and 4 together, 4 being on the bottom and 5 being on the top. Do you remember the letters and the numbers that I had you point to in the top right-hand corner of the windshield?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we have those both highlighted here on the screen.
Yes, sir.
And do you remember me asking the question about the numbers indicated on the lower left-hand side of the windshields?
Yes, sir.
And we have those also highlighted here on the screen.
Yes, sir.
So, with regards to this car, we're looking at the same car here between these two photos, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Working our way around the car, and I'd like to go ahead and kind of move in a counterclockwise fashion from looking at the hood. Moving now around to the driver's side, can you go ahead and point out for us, when you said that there were car parts in the car, show us where those car parts are, and do you recognize any of those parts?
Yes, sir. So the driver's seat, the car parts, and then the back passenger seat had more car parts on it.
Okay. Do you,
The floorboard.
and the floorboard as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. With regards to those car parts, let's go ahead and kind of zoom in, if we would, to the passenger area, or zoom into the driver's seat. So zooming in to that same
That car,
photograph.
look at that car,
Exhibit
yeah.
6. Can you see those car parts a little bit better?
Yeah, this is the car that Adam
Directly
Montgomery
to-
was sleeping in, him
let's
and the
start with
woman
driver's seat, looking at States Exhibit 7.
and
Where
her
some of these parts
kids.
are that you're talking about?
This looks like the bezel. Go look here where you're looking at your instruments.
Look at the car. Look at that. The steering column.
Underbody parts, like that might be a suspension component, but not 100%, but they're definitely car parts.
Okay. And moving to States Exhibit 8, if we go into the back seat, right behind the driver's seat, what are we looking at here?
They stole that car.
Car parts, sir. This looks like it might be actually an air filter box. Not 100%. This looks like it might be a fender well, like up in the air fender.
Okay. And is it fair to say from seeing here, we don't see a driver's side rear tire as well?
No, sir.
Moving now kind of to the trunk area, if you could, I'd like to go back to States Exhibit 103. You already identified this photo for us as being that particular trunk of the Chrysler Sebring with the car parts in it. I'd like to, if you could, describe for the jury as we look at specifically States Exhibit 104, what was the condition of these parts that you were looking at?
Just like that. They,
Scrap.
car parts. Yeah, I didn't take the car parts out and see if they fit the car. But
Straps, I mean, say.
Was there generally, were there any kind of fluids that were coming from any of these parts that you noticed?
Not in the trunk, but there was a liner, so it's hard to say.
Okay. What about in other areas of the car?
Yes.
There were?
Yeah, I believe so. Passengers, I think.
He was gonna sell that stuff, y'all.
So I really need you to keep your voice up. It's a big room and everybody needs to hear
Yes,
you.
ma'am, sorry.
Thank you.
I believe the right front area had wetness.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'm going to zoom in. Did you help remove these parts from the vehicle to help do the search?
Yes.
Where did they go?
I think we laid out a piece of big parchment paper, like around the same material, like a Hannaford's bag, like when you go to the grocery store and you get paper bags.
Yes.
Just a big roll of that. We laid it out, and they go on that roll.
Okay. Did you help, or did you watch as the car parts got emptied from the trunk?
I don't think.
And I'd like to show you now States Exhibit 9. Zooming in on this portion of States Exhibit 104 in the back corner. Can you tell if there's any particular color that's in that photo?
Color, sir?
Yeah, any color that doesn't look like a car part. And feel free to use the screen or the photograph if you wish. Look like blue to you?
Yes.
Okay. Once you emptied out the car, were you able to see what that light blue thing was as we look at States Exhibit 9?
He tried to glue everything back on the car, y'all.
Just with that trunk emptied. Excuse me. With that trunk emptied,
It's glue.
were you able to look farther to the back of the trunk?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And from there, what were the different items that you saw?
I think it was all clothing, and then the toothbrush. See a little bit of it right there.
Right where?
Right here, sir.
And that's inside that circle?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to see it? Let's say you can see it here from the photo, I take it.
Yes, sir.
Zooming in on States Exhibit 9, can you show us again where it is that you see it?
It's glue.
There?
Yes, sir.
And showing again States Exhibit 10. This is the toothbrush that you recovered from that trunk?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
On that toothbrush, you testified earlier on in direct that was identified that you logged it in as JMT7, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
one is that harmony.
The English been marked States Exhibit 66 for identification purposes only. Just go ahead and look at the label, feel the bag. Do you recognize that particular packaging?
Yes, sir.
What is that packaging? How do you recognize the packaging?
It's the brown bag that I placed it into.
And does it have your initials on it, JMT7?
Yes, sir.
Let me borrow a pair of scissors so we can go into it. Tucker, since we are talking about the toothbrush, I wonder if you would be willing to put on a pair of gloves for us. Be able to open that.
Man, get your microphone. You an old man. You know to put on the microphone. She done told you that 5, 10, 20 times.
So most of the time when you're processing crime scenes, there's a lot of evidence, and you put on a fresh pair of gloves every time you collect the evidence. And if you don't have double gloves, your hands become very sweaty. It becomes very difficult to put on a fresh pair of gloves. So it's just easier, especially doing blood spots, things of that nature. But I was always taught, so that's how I do it. Yes, sir.
Please go ahead and get those scissors down.
Do you have a preference on where?
I'd say ask you to go ahead and have an area where there is a leak. Okay. Slide.
toothbrush from the vehicle.
Without objection. All right, the idea is stricken, and it is entered as a full exhibit. For the purpose of? Just to be able to show both sides. Yes, you may do that. That's fine.
That look a little. That's different color. That's a purple one right there. It's not the same color though. Y'all ain't never seen nobody do that. Not the witness.
Mr. Tucker, moving on around the car, out of the trunk now. I'd like to go over towards the passenger side, if we could. We'll start with the rear passenger side. Looking at State's Exhibit 105 here, can you describe what we can see in this photograph? Yes, sir. More car parts on the seat, and then some trash items, and it's like a water bottle on the passenger side floorboard. And I see here that we've got a door on this side. Yes, sir. All right. And on the previous side, on the driver's side, were there any doors there? No, sir. Moving on from this particular one then to States 106, could you please describe what we're seeing here and what part of the car? It's the right front, the passenger side front. It's like the headlight is on the floorboard, and a reservoir for like washer fluid. Something like that.
And they were staying in that car right there.
Where the snow is.
Jesus.
And that headlight, the reservoir, the snow, all of those were there when you saw the car in that garage bay, correct? Yes, sir. None of those were placed there by officers to your knowledge? Not to my knowledge.
Why did he tear the car
With
up?
regards to some of the other evidence that you looked at on this particular item, this particular car, separate from the toothbrush, were there also a series of swabs that you took in the trunk? Yes, sir. Okay. And how many of those swabs did you take? Four. And how were those labeled? Your initials again? Yes, sir. Okay. And it was just 1, 2, 3, 4? Or? Yes, sir. JMT 1, 2, 3, 4. Those particular swabs, could you go ahead and describe for the jury how you collected swabs? You talked about it a moment ago when you showed us how.
Yeah, let me see what else they got on here because I want to get to. I want to get to Adam. That's who I want to get to.
When it comes to blood, if it's not wet, so
Let me skip it a little bit. I want to get to. Yeah, they don't went on break. What I'm gonna do, y'all? I'm gonna see.
I don't know where they were at. I just bought the food stamps.
Okay.
Who?
How about when they were at the fish shelter? Okay.
I probably did. I don't know where they were at when I didn't go. I don't remember where I.
Hold up, y'all. I gotta hear him. Let's see who this dude is right here. This Adam buddy.
Lived there for like 4 months at one time, and then like another 4 or 5 months after that.
And what were the periods that you lived there? What years?
I lived there from July of 2019 to I would say I think it was March of the following year. That's March of 2020.
And who did you live there with in that period that you just mentioned, the July 2019 to March 2020?
I lived with a friend of mine.
And what's your friend's name?
Her name is Tanya Clement.
And what were the circumstances? What was the arrangement that you had with Tanya, a living situation?
We would share the bills for the rent of the apartment.
While you were living there during that period that we're discussing, so not the later time, but the July to March, did you own a vehicle?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell these jurors what kind of vehicle you owned?
I believe it was a 2004 Audi S4 in blue.
Would you recognize that vehicle if you saw it today?
Of course.
So, Mr. Venero, I'm showing you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 22.
Exactly.
Do you recognize that?
That's definitely my old car, yes.
So you recognize it as your old car?
Yes.
Sorry, sir, I'm going to ask you the big corporate.
Just speak louder. Okay.
Keep your voice up.
Yes, that was my vehicle.
Is this a fair and accurate representation of your vehicle? Is
Yes.
this what your vehicle looked like, in other words?
Yes.
Your Honor, this one I move to strike that D and Harvey Principal States Exhibit.
Any objection? May we approach? Yes.
Let me skip it a little bit, child.
Introduction to this case was when marshals came to speak to you in January of 2022. And you wanted nothing to do with this case, right?
I didn't know anything about the case.
Yeah, except for what you read in the paper, right?
Except for what the officers told me.
Okay. And you said, I've got no involvement with anything involving a child, right?
Yes.
No way, right? Okay. And you got subpoenaed to the grand jury,
Yes.
and they had you swear an oath there to tell the truth, right?
Yes.
And they gave you some ground rules about your testimony at the grand jury, right?
Which means ground rules.
Okay. Well, they told you that you could refuse to answer a question if it would incriminate you, right?
No, you didn't tell me that.
They told you you had the right to be represented by an attorney, right?
Yes.
And that you had the right to refuse any answer in the grand jury, but only if that answer would incriminate you. Do you remember that? Okay. Let me show you a copy of a transcript of your grand jury, okay? So first of all, that was a long time ago, right?
Yes.
And does March 21 of 2022 sound about right?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell the truth.
I'm going to show you a copy of, you can see on the outside grand jury proceedings, right? About the disappearance of Harmony Montgomery.
Yes.
And you were sworn in at the beginning of the grand jury, right?
Yes.
And I want you to go through. And I'm going to take you from the bottom of page 3 into page 4 and ask you to read that to yourself, okay? And then I'm going to ask you a question.
You said bottom of page 3?
In the page 4.
Where at the bottom? From here?
Sure. Right.
Get in the mic so we can hear you too. All right, y'all. He reading some information, y'all, on the case. It's okay.
Does that refresh your recollection?
No.
Okay. And to the grand jury, well, while you were in the grand jury, you were advised that you had the right to refuse and answer a question if it might incriminate you, right?
From what it says here, yes, I guess. I just don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. And it says that, yes, you understood, right?
Yes.
So, you also said you lied to the grand jury, right?
Yes.
Okay. And being advised that you had the right to refuse to answer a question or you had the right to an attorney, you chose to lie under oath.
I didn't know that I was going to need an attorney.
Okay.
So you lied?
Answer their questions.
So when the question came up to something that would incriminate you, you chose to lie rather than ask for an attorney, right?
I got scared, and I didn't think about what they told me about asking for an attorney.
Sure. And you were scared because they thought you had information about Harmony, right?
Yes.
And you didn't want anything to do with this, right?
Of course.
You didn't want to be implicated in this in any way at all, right?
No.
Okay.
So you lied?
I'm going to switch gears a little bit here. You
Uh-oh.
talked about meeting Adam because you needed a ride to court.
Yes.
And you didn't have a license that day, right?
No.
Have you ever had a license?
No.
You did not have a license in November of 2019 then, right?
No.
If you've never had one, you
I've
didn't
never
have
had
one.
one, exactly.
Excuse me. And you didn't have one in December of 2019?
No.
Okay. And you talked about your prior convictions. And one of the prior convictions, I think that you said was possession of a controlled drug from 2018.
Yep. I
And that
could
was
tell
actually
it.
possession with intent to sell, right? Or dispense?
Yes, I don't recall.
Both.
If I showed you a copy of the record of that conviction, would that help refresh your recollection?
Maybe.
Okay.
Cut the
I'm going to show
editors
you
out.
what is a certified copy of a conviction returned from Superior Court, state prison sentence for Anthony Badero, right?
Yes.
And January 12, 2018,
That's when I was released.
that was the day you were sentenced. Well, actually, okay.
I got released as well.
Yeah, because you were actually in jail pre-trial, and the day you got sentenced, you got a suspended sentence, and they released you.
I got released. All I know is they let me go.
Okay. And so you got a sentence of 3 to 6 years with all but 92 days suspended. Does that sound right?
No. I believe it was the 92 whatever days time served, and then suspended time after.
Right. Okay. I may have said it wrong because I have gotten a little bit tired. So it was 3 to 6 years as a sentence. All of that was suspended except for the 92 days that you had already served.
Yes.
So when you mean you got released, you were held on bail before the conviction, and the day you got sentenced, you were let out.
Well, they picked me up from a state prison. I did a bit in the state prison. They picked me up. I did 92 days here in Valley Street, and then I got released.
Come on, Crook. What you do with
And
Harmony?
you had a suspended sentence hanging over your head of 3 to 6 minus that 92 days.
Yes.
Okay. And that was suspended for 3 years.
Yes.
Okay. And
Ooh.
then in November 22nd, 2019, you got another drug charge.
No.
Drug conviction, sorry.
Say that again. When?
November 22nd, 2019, you got convicted on another charge.
No.
Okay.
That's wrong.
You got to tell the truth because you know what Adam did with Harmony. See, you slick. Criminal. He up there being nosy now. Yeah, he know what Adam did with Harmony.
I think I was going to show you another certified copy of another conviction, okay? I can show you return from Superior Court, Anthony Badero, sentence November 22nd, 2019.
Sorry, I don't know anything about that. The last time I did time for drugs was I came home in 2018.
Sure, because on this one you got a total 2 to 4 suspended. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Okay. And your attorney was Attorney Sheehan?
Yeah, that was from the old case. That's not. I haven't confused.
Okay.
It can't be 2019 because I never got caught with drugs or anything after 2018.
Okay, so let's take a look at this. On June 24, 2019, you were driving without a valid license, right?
Yes.
And while you were driving without a valid license, they found drugs in your car.
No.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Don't let him fool y'all. That's a crook. That's Adam buddy. He know what he did. Don't let him fool y'all. Wait a minute. Why we can't hear him?
No, one time I knew for that.
And what was the other time?
Before that, the day he took me to court in August.
Oh, so she was in the car.
Yes.
Okay. And with the boys.
Yes.
And at Guilford Avenue, she was there and playing with the boys.
Yes.
And you said that Kayla and Adam needed a place to stay Thanksgiving weekend?
Yes.
And when they came and told you that they needed a place to stay, you said that you would let them stay in your car for 2 nights.
I didn't specifically say 2 nights. I said they can stay in my vehicle, but they happen to only stay 2 nights.
Okay.
2 days, 2 whole days.
Okay. And one of those nights, it ran out, the battery got drained.
From what they say, the first night, yes.
Okay. And you are saying that you did not go down and see them sort of squatting in the parking lot at Colonial Village in their secret.
No, I did not.
And you are saying that you did not go down on a daily or every other day basis to connect with the family and see Harmony and wave to her.
No.
And you are saying that Harmony did not wave to you during that time.
They didn't have Harmony with them.
Pardon?
They did not have Harmony with them.
Okay. When?
When they came to see me.
On those 2 days or before those 2 days?
It depends when you're talking about.
Okay. Did you ever, are you saying you did sometimes go down to the car to see them?
I'm pretty sure I went down a couple of times each day.
Okay. Okay.
But each time they did not have the girl with them.
Okay.
Only the boys.
And when you were questioned by the police, they actually played a recording of Kayla.
Where the girl was.
And they played a recording of Kayla talking about.
Come on, y'all. So what did Adam and what's the other girl name, y'all? What they do with the girls? He had the boys. Yeah, you know where that girl was. You know what Harmony was. Cause if they got the boys, why they ain't got the girls? They stand in the cars and they don't have nowhere to stay. So where they put the girls? The girls are with you, allegedly. You know what's going on. And then plus she had a little baby. He's so nervous, he don't know what to do. Poor thing. Where Harmony at? Y'all come on here, because I got to go to bed. Let me see what that last question she asked him.
Had them in your car for around the 8th. Thanksgiving was over a week before, right?
Well, of course, that would be right.
Thanksgiving was about 10 days before that, right?
Yes. I don't know what you're talking about.
And actually, you gave the family Thanksgiving leftovers when they first came to Colonial Village in the Sebring.
No.
You didn't give them.
There was no Sebring. They stood in my car. If they had the Sebring, they would have stood in their own car. What you think?
Okay. And you're saying that they did not park out in Colonial Village for 10 days prior to living in your Sebring?
I don't own a Sebring. And if they did bring the car to the parking lot, then I didn't know that either.
Okay.
They telling me they had no place to live. I let them stay in my car 2 days.
And
They left.
I do want to correct. I did say Sebring and I meant the Audi.
Okay.
So you're saying that you did not see the Sebring in Colonial Village for the 10 days leading up to when they stayed in your Audi?
See the car, no?
Okay.
What's a sea breed?
You said that the boys loved you. Had you seen the boys for more than those 2 times before?
Before and after, yes.
Before?
Yeah.
When did you see the boys before?
I saw Adam came to see me one time with the oldest one.
Pardon?
Adam came to see me one time with the oldest one.
Okay. And how about the others?
I guess the other one, they were with Kayla, I guess.
Okay. But I'm asking, so now that's 3 times.
No, it's not 3 times I saw Harmony. No. Don't get her confused.
I'm not.
I only saw her 2 times.
I'm backing up.
Okay.
Okay. First time you saw Harmony, she was with her brothers.
Yes.
Second time you saw Harmony, she was with her brothers.
Yes.
You're talking about another time that you see the brother, but not Harmony.
Yes.
How many other times did you see that brother?
Plenty of times.
When?
Throughout the whole time I knew them.
Okay. Did you see the boy prior, more than those 3 times we're talking about?
When are you referring to? Before Harmony went missing or after Harmony went missing?
We're trying to get there. Before the 8th, when they stayed in your Audi, had you seen the son more than 3 times?
Of course.
When?
I can't tell you exactly when, but I've seen the boys.
He's seen the boys more.
In the 10 days prior to staying in the Audi, you saw the boys with them?
I can't tell you exactly how many days prior to the day I let them stay in the car, but I did see them. Yeah. I seen the boys.
Okay.
Not the boys. Let me correct that. The boy. The boy. There was only one boy with him.
And what circumstance did you see that boy? Was Kayla coming up to see you and bringing her son with her?
No, Adam came to see me with the boy.
Okay, so Adam would come up to see you and he'd bring his son. Okay. And did they ever come in to use the bathroom or maybe clean up their kids?
No.
But what they come to see you for? Why is he so nervous?
Thank you, Mr. Madera.
Welcome.
Mr. Padera, what's your involvement been like with the legal system? How
Been very bad, sir. I'm not gonna lie.
Attorney Smith was just asking you about this time that the defendant came to see you with his oldest son.
Yes.
Do you recall when that was?
I don't recall exactly when, but it was before Thanksgiving.
Before Thanksgiving. You said that the 2 days they were staying in your car, that you remember that clearly, that you didn't sell drugs to them. You were very clear on that. Why is that?
Because it's like a family weekend. Like I don't recall selling drugs that weekend. I don't even recall me having drugs.
Mr. Padera, let me ask you this. How many times have you allowed the family to stay in your vehicle?
I never had. That was the first time.
Was that the only time?
First and only time.
Does that stand out to you?
Well, I remember, yeah.
The defense asked you about letting people drive your car. You didn't have a license. That's my understanding. Is that right?
Yes.
And the defense attorney asked about letting people drive your car. I want to follow up on that. You said that you'd occasionally allow folks to drive for you.
Not really. I would drive myself. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't have a license, but I would drive myself.
You said you didn't have a license.
Investigators that I didn't let anyone drive my car. I didn't let them drive it. Do you recall telling investigators that?
Pretty sure I did. But I've never lent him my car to just be on their own and drive my car.
And the time that you're talking about where you went in your car, you let them drive it.
I don't even recall, son.
You recall whether there was snow on the ground, whether it was hot or warm outside?
I don't remember any of that.
You mentioned seeing the two boys and them waving at you. You waving back. Were you referring to the 2 days that they were staying in the boys were staying in your vehicle, or was that some other time?
Actually, yeah, that was some other time. I was just, whenever they saw me, they waved to me. They said hi. I would grab them, hug them. I can't recall every time they said they waved to me.
Okay.
They said hi.
Calm down.
So Adam did drive you around in your car, but you don't recall exactly when.
Of course, because it wasn't on a regular basis.
But it was more than once.
I can't even say that. I don't even recall that.
Okay.
I'm thinking it was only one time.
Okay. And when you interacted with the boys, it wasn't just waving. I think you'd say that they came up and
Of course, yes.
so it wasn't just a wave from afar. The kids were around.
I
Came up to them and interacted.
all the time.
Okay.
Y'all gonna need him for a witness. He knows something. He knows something, y'all, allegedly.
No further questions.
All right, y'all, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop it right here. I think they need to do that. I hope the jury think about him. He knows something. I don't understand why what his name, why Adam not in court, y'all. I don't understand it. I don't, this is throwing me off because it's a trial. And Adam not in the court. I don't think that's Adam over there looking at, that other guy, not him, not the witness. Now, before I leave, what happened was they described the car that Adam was in. Now, the car that he let them stay in, I wonder I had to go back and check again. I wonder that's the car that we was looking at in the previous trial, in the early part of the trial. Remember, they showed us the car with no doors and all that stuff. I wonder if that's his car that they messed up. Is this another car? You know what I mean? After they left his car. But y'all, I appreciate y'all being here with me. We got to find out what happened to Harmony, okay? Y'all get a chance, hit that, smash that like button. Let's get these lights up over here, okay? I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all in the morning at 5:35, okay? I'm out, y'all.